Hi again. My name is Marla, and of course I represent Osborne Books and More. And I represent Storytamer Books. So this next, I just wanted to pop on live and share another book with you that I'm reading. I read a lot, and I also homeschool. So I want to share something that I'm doing in my homeschool that actually works and helps my son to read better, write better, and do math better. Okay, so you ready? I wanted to share None Dare Call It Education by John A. Stormer. And the book is about, it's about a lot of things. So he goes in and he gives a little introduction on education. And then he talks about what they're doing to children economically, morally, and to teach them about the new social order, which is here, actually. This book was published in 1998. I was still in college at that time, and thank God I graduated before all the changes, before Clinton got into office. Because after Clinton got into office, we started seeing a lot more changes in our public school system. And one of the reasons why I homeschool is because I want my son to learn to read, write, and do math. And I don't agree with this new math or the new way of teaching phonics, which they're not really teaching, even though they call it the science of reading. There is no science to reading. There's only a science to teaching reading. And they're not doing that. So pretty much I'm going to just give you a few, the main topic for chapter 1, which is new teaching methods used in some schools would be funny if the results were not so tragic. Since I graduated in 92, functionally illiterate, I've had to upgrade my skills and learn how to read, write, and do math myself because I wasn't taught very well. But after I graduated, it continued plummeting. And students are not being taught how to read, write, and do math well. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was this new math, which started showing up in the late 90s. Is that here's one problem. Okay, so one of the problems is this is one of the lessons from a first grader. Here's what they asked. There are 10 children in a small school Samuel goes to. There are 5 jars of paint. After how many children can paint? So the answer wasn't really a math answer. It's really a lesson on sharing. So the answer was that if they share, they can all paint. That's hilarious. Okay, that's not math. In my math curriculum, I took my son through pretty much 2 years of adding and subtracting and drilling him, which was hard to do in first and second grade because my son does not want to sit and be drilled on math. So it took me 2 years to get through my math curriculum. But now we're doing multiplication drills and division drills, and we're adding new concepts. But this new math is not really teaching them basics that they get to go out and know after they graduate, so that they could be competent adults. And here's something else. Back in 93, 96. Okay, I graduated in 92, so this is after I graduated. They sent a letter, the California legislature sent a letter to parents asking them not to correct their kids' spelling. And I'm like, why? But pretty much, you're not so the letter to parents of first graders is typical of letters in legislature files from 1993 to 96. This is around Clinton era, okay? And what they said, it's a inventive spelling, and it's even worse now, okay? I teach my son phonics, and I teach him spelling. Okay, we're just starting to do. When he was in first and second, I really didn't teach. I really didn't drill him on spelling. I mean, it was very easy, and as long as he sounded out the letter and he heard it, he was spelling the word. But now that he's getting older and we have more combination of words, I do drill him on spelling, and he's terrible. And I let him correct himself too, but I correct his spelling, and I say, wait, listen for the sound that the letters make, and listen for that rule, because there's rules in spelling, and if kids aren't learning those rules, they're gonna be terrible adults and terrible thinkers. Anyways, so the whole system is wrong and off. And if you, the parent, aren't on top of your kids and aren't supplementing what they're getting in school, and when you're this learning at home is a great opportunity for you to really listen in to what the teachers are teaching and supplement what they're doing, because they're not going to learn how to read and do math well if you're not directly involved in their education. Do you get it? Even if you let somebody else teach them, you're still gonna have to do after school home programming, because after school homeschooling, that's what it's called. So if you don't do that, your kids aren't going to get a good education. And they're going to be functionally illiterate, even far worse than I was. It took me years to shrink that gap that I had. But imagine today, the kids, that gap is probably wider. And they're probably so indoctrinated that they're going to be voting for commies in the future. I'm sorry, but it's true. Anyways, what I really like about Usborne Books and More is their learning wrap-ups programs. And they used to sell a learning wrap-ups kit that had a CD, and your kids can repeat. So if your kids are good with listening, they'll love it. But the learning wrap-ups is a key, and it allows you to drill yourself and memorize the math facts. And it's a really good system. And they also have a little workbook. And the workbook are just about drills on the math facts, adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division. And it's absolutely the best system that we have for teaching and supplementing math in school. I highly recommend it.